Hi, everyone. So our company name is called We Found, and it's basically called that because we find things for you. So, well, not just any things. So, uh, basically, company focuses, it's an e-commerce site, right? But we use the Kroger API, and it's a really cool API actually. The only thing that's annoying about it is it's very hard to get access to. So there's a lot of struggles there. I think it took us like the whole day one. Um, at least it was my job to like connect the us to the Kroger API, and that took me at least like 12 hours to figure out. And it turned out to be a bug on their side, which they fixed. So I spent like 8 hours trying to connect it. But the cool thing about it is you can search, like they have a whole chain of stores across the country, and they have an API that's free that all you have to do is you send like a search term and it passes you all the products that they sell related to that term. And if you specify a location ID, they give you more details on it. And if you go to the next slide, we have like a flow chart. It's very big and very small. I don't think we can zoom in. But basically it starts from the top left, if you can follow along, where when the user goes to the home page, we don't really have a home page. It just goes to the login page right away. And you got to log in. If you can't log in because you don't have an account, there's a link on the bottom to sign up. And once you sign up or log in, you're given an access token by the backend to basically use the features. So with that token, you can search for products, and you'll get basically responses back, and then you can search again, or you can click on a product to bring it up, and you can add it to your cart, and we update the database based on what you add to your cart. And that's basically a broad overview of it. We're going to go in more detail with it. So on the next slide, I think we're going to pass it over to the front end team. So that's Seb and Idris.
Hey, my name is Sebastian, and I basically did the front end, or some part of the front end. My job was to basically fetch the data and render it. So when the user first comes to our page, you see a regular login page, you put in your username, you put in your password, but so the data that you put in, right, it gets posted to the backend, and then if the person is already a user, they get logged in. But if you're not, there's an error message that shows up. I forgot to put it in the slides, but trust me, it works. And another kind of feature that is implemented with the login, right? So if you see the nav, right, to prevent users from just randomly just clicking to the cart, we basically implement this thing where if you click it, you could never search for whatever produce or whatever product you try to find, because we actually do need your, I know this is going to sound crazy, but we do need your address, and we do need your information to find the best location or the best products to show you. So if we go to the, the regular sign up page, go next. Yeah, so this is if you don't have an account, and this basically you put in your first name, yada 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 yada, the regular stuff. A cool feature is that if you try to put in a password, right, if you actually don't confirm it, we will send you an error message. And it's the same thing with email. If the email isn't correct, we will send you an error message. Again, it works. I just forgot to put it in the slides. Next. Okay, so for this part, this is the search page. This user is searching up apples. Well, basically with this page, you could filter through the distance it is away from your house, like the product and where the Kroger stores, like which product they have. You could also filter from price, and then you could go from low to high for your searches. But another cool feature is that you could actually just go to the Kroger store yourself if it's close enough. So we added a feature where if it is available in store, you could tick it. And if it's, if you want it home delivered, we also take that. And curbside pickup, we also take that. I think a problem that me and Mohamed like ran into, whereas or even the back end, is that Kroger database or their API is very hard to authenticate. They basically for the first like few days, right? We were literally there. We didn't have any data because we couldn't authenticate. I mean, yeah, Mohammed already told you the issue that it was on their end and not us. But for a couple of days, we were literally going crazy, and we had to use dummy data to like, render the stuff. But for that part, we couldn't have any data, and basically, yeah, that's the one of the problems we faced. Another problem we faced was basically the way I did it is that the way I used the states, I did not properly render it, so we couldn't like get to the product page. Like, so if you click a product, right, we couldn't get the exact product. So basically what I did, me and Mohammed worked together, and we worked out some things. We stayed up for really late, just trying to fix some things. And so with this new thing, right? So if you go to the next page, this is when you like click a product. So yeah, we fixed the issue, right? So we basically passed in data through a link, and we passed in data as prop through a link, and we could get the brand names and stuff to display on a product page, and you could see the product, you could see the details of the product. And with this, you could basically add to cart. Yeah, I mean that's all I got for these pages.
I just want to add something. So yeah, what Seb was talking about was we wanted to, when we render all the products after we start the term, we make an API call to Kroger to get that information. And we had two options. Should we make another API call when someone clicks on a product, or should we try to pass props into or states into the next page? And so we try to opt for the latter, passing in the state. So that saves us an API call every time. And we have 10,000, so I don't think it matters. But yeah. Yep. So on the next page, I think Idris, if you want to explain the cart system.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Mohamed. Thank you, Seb. Just like we all do after a user, browses through a website or a shopping online website, and they find an item of their choice, they want to buy it. So you just add to the cart, and you can see this user chose a fair milk and Nesquik. And in this cart, you can you have the opportunity to increase the quantity you want to take it off the cart. You have a promotional price on your right, and total amount of the total price you have that you plan to purchase. So the user can be sure of, in case of budget or something like that, the user can be sure of what the amount they're about to spend before they check out. And at the bottom, you can see a checkout button, just like we all do when we like shop on Amazon or something like that. And I think this is basically what the cart does, just like every other cart. And I think that is it for the front end. I'm gonna pass it to the back end. Or if Mohamed or Seb wants to add something, let me know.
So one thing to point out, if you check out our link, so the filters, none of them work except the availability ones. So like available in store, delivery, those things, those are accurate. But the other filters, those that's our future plan to fix those, because it's not that we didn't know how to do it. It's just, it was a bit complicated because of how the data object we get back from the Kroger API. It's complicated because it's filled with a bunch of objects. And over here, this cart page, it all works. The max quantity is 10, and that's on purpose because I don't know the max quantity by Kroger. So just to be on the safe side. You can add below 0 or 0. So the minimum is 1. And the remove button doesn't work. Didn't have enough time for that. We have an idea of how to make it work. Just not enough time, but it's in the works. Yeah. So next, we're gonna have, I think, Tiego and Bryant explain the back end.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Yeah, thank you to the rest of my team. Thank you, Mohamed. So yeah, my name is Bryant. I worked on the backend portion along with my other teammate Tiego. Just a quick shout out to Tenzin and to Ariel for helping us a lot with the backend. So our database was interesting, at least for me, because it was different because we didn't work with dummy data. It was more about of the user model and the car item models, because we pulled all our information from the Kroger API. So the user model incorporated attributes that include a username, password, and personal information. And the car item model contained attributes related to the items in the Kroger API description. So even though we didn't create our own data, the purpose of the database was to use the Kroger API to add items described by the Kroger into the user carts and to store user account information. So our job was to match the information provided by the Kroger API to our database models. And I think the interesting part that we found was that the way that we had to implement the Kroger supermarket item data into our project from a live API instead of using dummy data. And the most challenging aspect of it was getting the Kroger API to work from the start, from day one. It took us pretty much the first whole day to like figure it out. And it wasn't because of Mohamed's resiliency, pretty much, that he emailed out to Kroger and he got a response back in the day, and it resulted to be an issue on their end. But he did end up figuring it out as well, to another way around it. So yeah, I think that was probably one of the most challenging aspects of it. And if you go to the next slide, I just included a quick picture of what the car item model looks like. So including the ID, the product ID, the UPC, which is the barcode, the categories, the country of origin description, just a quick look at to see one of the models, which was the car item model. And I'm going to pass it over to Tiego so he can speak more on the APIs.
Tiego, you there?
Oh, yeah, I was on the mute.
No problem.
Yeah, sorry about it. Hey, everyone. My name is Tiego Ouedraogo, and I work on back end with Bryant. And like Brian said, at the beginning, it wasn't really easy for us to start because we wanted a live API to work with it. And so when we was working on the router API, so there are a lot of information that we're asking from the user, and all those information that we're getting, it's like a full information that we're asking from the user, and all those information, we don't store it at the back end. It is like I said, we're using a live API. It really goes to Kroger store, to Kroger store. And yeah, so if you see in our route, I mean API route, what we was just trying to do is to match a user request with the product that they have in the store. And if you request an item that is not really available, so we just gonna let you know it's not. And we make sure you are able to create your account, edit it, update it, or you can even delete your account whenever you want. Can you go to the next page? Yeah, basically that's like what I was talking about. The account is you are able to create one, update it, and delete it like whenever you want. And from here, I'm gonna pass to Mohamed, and he's gonna talk about the authentication.
Okay, so the authentication, it was a roller coaster. So I think it was on day 3, or so Wednesday. Tiego came to me, it was like, hey Mohamed, we should work on the authentication. I'm like, okay, you and Bryant can work on it, and I'll join you guys later. And then we joined them later. We were having problems, and then the next day I was still having problems, and that was on Thursday. We couldn't figure out, and we were referencing the GitHub repositories from AJ, We couldn't figure it out. So I think while Tiego and Bryant were working on, they were working on making a modified version of it. So what we ended up with was we used an express session, I think it was. I'm not too sure on it. I wasn't really working too much on that side. I was working on a different type of authentication, just in case that didn't work out. But they got it to work, I think. I'm not sure there's a way we can actually test the, because we're not really using the session, but it is there. So that when the user logs in, we start a session for them. And then when the user logs out, we end the session, right? And what I'm about to explain next might be confusing because I think that was the express session, not to be confused with the browser session. I don't think they're the same. So what I did was I used Json Web Tokens. Like last night I was working on it and I barely got it done, but I did get it done. So basically whenever you sign up or log on, the database or the backend generates a token for you. And it generates what I call a super ID. So the super ID is basically it's an attribute of the table. And you know how Postgres has like 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on for IDs. So the super ID, I use an NPM package called Nano ID, which I think a few of you might have heard. It just generates a random ID for you that's like 30 characters long, I think. And we use that to make on the JSON Web Token to make even a longer string. And basically, we send that token to the user when they sign in or log in. And when they make an API request, or when they make really any request on our backend, besides logging in and signing up, they have to give us the token, or else the request is not going to work. So if they want to save anything like on their accounts, they have to give us a token. If they want to make a search, they have to give us a token. And there's still some work needed to be done because technically, I think they can get all the users' information with their own token, so that's not good. But yeah, so that's the authentication part. It was a last minute thing. We got it done. And there's a lot of things we didn't get done. So Kroger, they don't just have a products endpoint, they have something called a locations endpoint where you can search for locations. That was supposed to be on our MVP, but we didn't get that far because of all the obstacles. But that's something we want to add. We want to add the ability to, because right now we're searching by zip code, and we have a default zip code in the middle of the country. So yeah, so it's just searching products around that zip code. So the products are not anywhere near you. So sorry about that. But that's something we want to implement. So when a user types in their zip code in their accounts, we just get their zip code and then search it there. And one more thing we really want to implement is the Kroger Carts Api, where as they're adding stuff to the cart that we manage for them, we can have a button where they can check out that cart to Kroger. And if they have a Kroger account, they can add all the cart items from our website to their Kroger carts and check out over there. So it's like we can actually help Kroger sell stuff, and we're doing it for free. So volunteering, I guess. Yeah, implementing pagination. So Kroger sometimes returns more than one page of products. They don't send you all the products. They send you 10 at a time, up to 100 at a time if you specify it. But if your search comes up with more than that, you have to specify it to go to the next page. So one thing we wanted to add was like a page button on the bottom, specify going to the next page. And like I mentioned before, a more refined authentication system, because it's good now, actually. You need a token to do stuff, but I think the token is too powerful now. You can do too much stuff, but yeah. There was something else, I think, after this slide.
The shipping, we didn't finish the shipping.
Oh yeah, the shipping, and that's video. So I did a video demo. I didn't know we were going to show it here because I was talking during this. So yeah, I guess I'll let my past self talk about the video. So it's a quick demo through our website. Okay, so I don't think the sound is coming in. So basically, you log in to your accounts, but you can't log in because you need to sign up first.
Can
So-
they hear the video?
No, I don't think so. Can you hear it? It might be your speaker saying, but that's fine. I can just explain as I go. So yeah, basically, I don't think this user exists, so it's not going to work. So we go to sign up to an account. You put in your information. I actually changed it recently. So you only need to put in your username, password, and you need to confirm your password. You don't need anything else if you want to try it out, and you'll get a token. And this is the main page. You search anything you want. So searching apples, those are Apple products, not the company, Apple electronic companies. Yeah. So, oh yeah, Kroger is a supermarket store. So you're going to only see basically food products here. Milk, they do sell that. Yeah. So you can click on one, you can add it to cart, and it automatically takes you to your cart and adds it. It changes dynamically. So as you increase your quantity, you're seeing how much it's going to cost you for that product. We forgot to add a complete total price if you add more than one product. So right now you'd have to do the math, but I'm pretty sure we can implement that easily. We do have a link to Kroger on the bottom of every page, I think. So if you want to check out their API, you can do that. Those filters, like I said, I don't think they work. They're available in store, home delivery, and curbside pickup. I actually think it prints it out even if you don't specify it. So those kind of work, even though when you don't want it to. Oh, and it prints out a message saying only logged in users can search for products if you log out. So I think I logged out. And I'm trying to search for apples. It's not letting me. The reason why it's showing milk here is because every time someone searches, I save their text entry in the search box and the results in local storage or session storage. So say like they go to, a problem we had was if you go to, say you click on a product item and you decide you don't want it and you go back, everything would have disappeared. So what this does, the session storage of the items keeps it. So yeah, and that's basically it. Hopefully more to come soon. You can check it out. The link is on the Google Sheets.
Make sure to check out the My Career tab on the BC Navigator app, where you can track your career progress based on the amount of credits you've earned, stay updated on upcoming events from the Magner Center, and watch our videos for insight and advice on your career field.